Hey, business building warrior. This is Jim with an episode of Silent Sales Machine Radio. Got a treat for you today. Another interview. We've heard hundreds of these at this point on this show. People who are using the proven Amazon course strategies to launch incredible businesses. In this case, it's a young man. I call him a young man. He's about half my age, so I guess I can do that, right? His name's Kyle, and I'll bring him on, like I said, here in just a couple minutes. But I want to tell you a few things about him first in our discussion today that I've already recorded. So I'm recording the introduction now after the fact. But this is a guy who was playing around on the internet in college, going for his business degree. And he just found so much more joy and pleasure and fulfillment in what he was doing online compared to the business classes he was going through. But he says he made his parents proud. He finished his degree. He got his degree, but then he jumped both feet into selling online, and his Amazon business started to take off. The most recent rolling 30 days for Kyle is $80,000 total sales in the replens model. That's the proven Amazon course model where we start 99% of all our new students, the replens model. In many cases, people are building seven-figure plus multiple seven-figure businesses. It's just that model. Here's yet another case. $80,000 most recent 30 rolling at 24% net margin. That means he's putting, way over 22,000 bucks in the bank net profit every month on a business. He says he's working about 4 hours a day. He's using virtual assistants that we trained for him, and then he purchased from us once they were trained, and they're working hard in his business, building every day. He's got a team of 4 at this point. Proven Replens VA was the service. There's a link in the show notes to provenreplensva.com. If you want more information on that, you can go to silentjim.com anytime, click on the resources associated with this episode, and you can get all those links. Or if you're watching on YouTube, in the description, you'll see links to all of these things as well. He asked me some really great questions today. I think you're really going to enjoy hearing from a young man who speaks from the heart. He's very plain spoken. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. Yeah, there were some rough challenges. Yeah, there's been plenty of times he wanted to quit, he even says. But he looks at what he's built now, and he looks at the trajectory. He's got a fiance. He's going to be married soon. He's got a special needs sister. He wants to build something that she can be a part of. And he's got a lot of big dreams and hopes. And look at a guy like this who has opportunities ahead of him that were unimaginable such a short time ago. And he's got a lifetime ahead of him of applying not only business strategies, but using the internet creatively in such a way he can go anywhere, do anything with his life because of what's been built. And it all comes back to this community. He expresses a lot of gratitude for this community and the relationships he's building. And he's an attendee at our upcoming conference. By the time you hear this, that conference may have already happened. You kind of hear us allude to that. This is one of those awkward episodes we're recording before the conference, but the conference is probably going to be happening about the time you hear this. So it's kind of too late to join us there, possibly. August 12th through 14th, 2022, the Proven Conference. But you can certainly get the videos. We're capturing close to 40 sessions over those 3.5 days. It's going to be a phenomenal event. And it's all the great leaders and coaches from our team, the great success stories that you've heard interviewed on this podcast, presenting on stage. That's who's leading the charge at this event. It's going to be fantastic. So if you want to get a bit better feel for what this group's all about and get some cutting edge, latest content from the people who are building incredible businesses, kind of leading the charge, like I said, those videos would be a great investment. Good way to check out what we're all about. There'll be a link as well to the Proven Conference in the show notes. So check that out. Looking over to see if there's anything else I need to share from this episode today. I think that's it. Just enjoy getting to know a young man who's doing life and business with a different trajectory than what you see out of a lot of guys his age. It's just an unusual thing to see somebody who's planning to do life the way he is. And it's working. It's working really well. So enjoy this interview with Mr. Kyle Verhoff. So Kyle, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
It's truly an honor.
Oh, it's an honor to be here.
It's good to hear you say that, buddy. But part of the fun that I get to have around here is getting to know some of the great successful students in our community. And I learn every time. So, man, let's jump into your story.
Okay. So My e-commerce journey kind of started off when I was in college. I just only did eBay at the time. It was about my sophomore, junior year. And I did internships. I was in supply chain management, but I didn't find anything that I was like passionate about or made me feel like I'm doing something that I'm making the world a better place. And doing eBay and just merchant fulfilling those orders, I felt passionate about that. So I wanted to see how could I make this uh, full-time living.
I got you.
And
How long ago was this?
this is probably my sophomore year of college, so 2019, 2018.
Okay, I got you. 3, 4 years ago, that kind of thing.
And I was still pretty young in college, so I really didn't know what was going on. They don't teach you anything. I went to a state university. They don't teach you anything about business. How do you
I've,
even?
I've got a business degree from a state university too. It's been a long time ago. I graduated in 1992, and I can confirm that of the hundreds of hours I spent sitting in classrooms getting that business degree, I used so little of it. I'm actually working on a book, Kyle. It's all the things I've had to unlearn from my business degree to actually succeed in business. So
Yeah,
I feel your pain, man.
yeah. I heard you talk about the podcast. It has a very witty title too, doesn't it?
We'll see. We'll see. It's coming along. I've got all these books. I hope to finish some of them.
Yeah, but we don't need to talk about that.
No, let's stay forward, positive focus, man.
Yeah. So I went down the rabbit hole. How can you make a full-time living on eBay? Saw people doing drop shipping, all that. So, I mean, you got to dip your toe everywhere. So you got to see if that works for you. Cause I mean, you can research, is this a scam? Is this not a scam? But also I like trying and fail. So I like failing because you're going to learn from that failure.
Beautiful. Great attitude.
So I went down that and then I saw you kids sell on Amazon. This was probably junior, senior year of my college. And just wanted to start that. And just even setting up an Amazon account first on, because I didn't find anything that like gave you the basics. It was really hard just setting up my Amazon account, trying to have a professional seller or account. So that took me like 3 months just getting that set up. And then I got that set up, got the interview going, and I was just scanning products in Goodwills and Walmart's cleared sections, not even knowing what the sales rank was. I was just like, oh, this is listed at this much. I can make that much money. And it was just trial and error, making money, seeing if I'm actually going to make a profit, if this is going to ever work out for me. And then I just was listening to everything on iTunes podcasts about Amazon selling. And I came across Silent Sales Machine. And you go down the e-commerce trail and there ain't no class that ever offers anything for $29 a month. So $29 a month, I'll try anything for $29 a month if you can teach me a business that I can be passionate about. So I saw the pack course and saw the replens, and well, that we're getting a little ahead of. This is after I graduated college is when I found the replen. So I buckled down for
a couple years ago at this point.
Yeah, I buckled down and kind of put Amazon on hold, graduated college because I wanted to get that out of the way.
Finish it, get your degree. Yeah, you're that far in, might as well, right?
Make my parents proud.
Exactly.
And I stumbled upon the replen's course. This time I was looking for jobs, and I was also doing sort of well on Amazon, selling like $5,000 a month, which was giving me hope.
Yeah.
And if that's all I needed. And background, my parents are also entrepreneurs, so I always saw them always working for themselves, working hard. So my parents are my heroes. So I
That's
always,
beautiful.
so
Not a
I,
lot of young men and young ladies can say that, man. That's a blessing. Good
oh,
for you.
it is, I'm very blessed to have the family I do. And I kept going with pack, learning replens. This was probably 20. This is right when kind of COVID was beginning.
Right.
Couldn't find a job. So I was just sitting at home, just learning about replens. Jimmy Smith's 0 to 10,000 really hit home for me. It kind of just breaks you down the steps on how to run the business. To make this amount of money, you need to sell this amount a month and break that down this amount a week, this amount a day.
This many products. Right.
Yeah. So you break it down to that, then you just scale and you keep learning. I went into Walmart's, Myers, and just sat in the aisle doing retail arbitrage, just going on my Amazon app, acting like I was a customer, just typing in brand names, filter highest to lowest. And at first, I couldn't, never I didn't understand what was going on, how to find these profitable ASINs that were everywhere. And as you sell little by little, I guess it kind of unlocks doors. You learn about Keepa, the drops, reading graphs, which is probably number one. If you read the Keepa graphs, you can know if you're gonna sell that for how long or how profitable.
Yeah. And for the listener who's checking this podcast episode out today, you're doing great, by the way, Kyle. But I just want to emphasize, if you listen to, let's say, 50 podcast episodes of this show, recent success stories, you're going to hear 49 of them mention Keepa. So go back and listen to podcast episode 369. We're not going to dive into what Keepa is, why we love it. It's a very unique tool. It's about $20 a month. It unlocks a whole new world of opportunity better than any other tool out there. And just a little brief lesson. You may or may not know this, Kyle, but you probably do because you've been doing replens a while now. But there's a lot of great tools for Amazon sellers out there. But the vast majority of the ones that are designed to help you make good inventory decisions are using Amazon's API, meaning they're pulling the same publicly accessible data from Amazon that everybody else is. And the thing that makes Keepa so special is, yes, they have that data along with all the other 1,000 tools, but they also have invested in a massive bank of servers that scrape Amazon and track product rank for every ASIN, which is not something that Amazon provides. A history of product rank is not in Amazon's API, publicly accessible data. So that's why they have a huge advantage. And as you and I both know, when product rank drops, as you just said, the drops, you know that at least one unit sold. So Keepa very quickly becomes the most accurate tool for telling you, is this product actually selling or not? And if so, how fast is it selling? For $20 a month, which is the only information you need to become a powerhouse replens seller. So I just want to fill in that little blank for anyone who happens to be new or had never heard that explained before. But yeah, great job, Kyle. You're doing a tremendous job. So you finished your business degree, just to recap, made your parents proud. I'm sure they are. That's an achievement. No one can take that away from you. Good job. You may or may not actually use it, but you've got the street cred now. Hey, I got a business degree. And I'm sure you made some great friends, picked up a few things here and there, but you've got this rocking business now based on the proven Amazon course, replens model. You're getting into it. You're not scanning barcodes anymore so much. You're looking for great ASINs. I want to go back something you just said. I'm reading the minds of some of the listeners right now. You said you sort it from highest to lowest when you put in a brand. Are you talking about the price? Do you kind of look at the higher price when you put in a brand? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, if you're searching keywords on Amazon on the buyer's app, that filter. Mm-hmm. Somebody said it on your guys' podcast. It was a golden nugget that.
Yep, that's a good tip, huh? That's what I do too.
Yeah.
Now, Jimmy doesn't say he doesn't do it that much. He'll just scroll through whatever random order Amazon gives him. But I like to sort high to low. And inevitably, within the first 15, 20, 25 results, there's some decent replens in there.
Yeah, you're going to find something.
Yep. Yep. Good tip, man.
So this is probably going in September. So in August, when I finished my degree, I did 5K in sales. And then September, 5K as
And this
well.
is 2020?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So about 2 years ago, as we're recording.
This is 2021.
2021, a year ago. I
just started selling on Amazon last August.
I got you. Okay. So we're only a year back now. I got you.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries, man.
I was just I was playing around, but I never opened up an LLC or had this is the business.
Yeah. You ramped up slow. You took your time getting into it after school, but now you're rocking. All right. So that you had your first $5,000 a month with replens about a year ago today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And just was having that little list, and I was doing all RA. Wasn't even looking at OA at all because I liked going into the stores, and I could sit in the aisles and I could go grab the easy money on the clearance section as well.
Sure.
Then October hit. I went past the 10K mark in Jimmy's course and started doing online arbitrage. And it was also Q4, so I hit 20,000 in October.
October 21, you hit 20K. Nice. That's a nice uptick. August, September, October. You went from 5K to 20K in 3 months. Yeah. 2 months. That's great.
You also find those hot items during the Q4.
Of course. The stuff that's just flying off the shelf. Yeah.
Yeah. And then November, I found that item that I just couldn't get enough of, and I did $55,000 in sales in November.
That's beautiful, man. Do you know what your net margins are along the way on this, approximate?
We're averaging around 24%.
24% net. That's before you pay yourself, I'm sure. But that's beautiful, man. That's great.
Yeah, it's before taking taxes out and all that jazz.
Of course.
And then all this time I was thinking, how can I put some of this energy? Because I'm spinning all the wheels myself. And what takes up most of my time was sourcing, trying to find that next hot replan.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys said you were going to release virtual assistants. And I said, this could just change someone's business altogether, because I had no one working for me at the time. And right when you guys released, when you were starting the virtual assistants, I signed up right away.
Wait, now when was it? I don't remember when we started that program. Are we coming up on? Has it been that long ago? This is early 2022, right?
It was January.
Okay.
So I was Q4 shopping and got a call from Matt. It was like, hey, you want a virtual assistant, $2,000 to train? You don't have to train them. I was like, yeah. Yep. I cannot turn that down.
Of course, Kyle's talking about let me fill in the listeners for just a second, buddy. The PRV, we call it proven replens, va.com. We'll stick a link in the show notes where the price has gone up a little bit. You were smart to get in fast, because what we're doing is we're finding, vetting, interviewing, qualifying, and then training, and then testing, and then retraining, and then testing, and then retraining, and then testing until they're ready to go. And then we say, hey, Kyle, here's your virtual assistant, fully trained, able to find replens, and they take off like a rocket, working. And this is the beautiful part, just for you. There's a lot of services out there where you're getting into a pool with a bunch of other people and you're getting leads and you're all selling the same stuff. We don't do that. This virtual assistant works just for you. That's a unique qualifying trait that we have in our program, and it's been going really great. I don't know how it's going for you. I haven't actually heard, but I'm just saying from what I've heard and the feedback I've received, it's going good. Is it perfect? No, we've had a few VAs that we've had to put back into training and swap them in and out a little bit. But how'd it go for you?
It's going well. Kyle Curtis usually takes care of any questions I have.
Yep, Kyle's our manager on the program.
Yeah, I had a few iffy VAs that we didn't see eye to eye, and they did something that I didn't like, and I was just like, okay, I want a new one. And Kyle's like, here you go. Next week they were
Swap,
ready
swap.
to start again,
Yep.
which
Yep.
I can't ask for anything other than that, because
Yep.
they're doing Kyle's doing the managing, you guys are doing the training. They work for me.
That's awesome. Give me some specifics. Give me some good, bad, ugly, man. Talk us through it. Be realistic. We don't have to sugarcoat anything. Like what mess ups did they make and what were you looking for and what's happening now?
Mess ups they made early on, just I wanted them to at least find like 5 products a day. And if they weren't meeting that quota, I would say, well, I just need that output. And then I eventually found that one. And then I had the quota, just $10 in profit a day. And it was probably the third virtual assistant that Kyle brought to me that I still have with to this day. Kyle probably gave her to me in March, and I still have her today.
Gotcha. So January, February, you experimented a little bit, didn't quite see eye to eye. They didn't quite get up to speed as fast as you'd like. But then in March, you got a VA that's taken off. And I can say this too. I mean, March is, several months ago as we're recording this, we've changed and enhanced. We've made it harder to get through the program is what we've done. So because, the feedback from the early users was certainly extremely valuable, but we're learning and growing this program now. I'm very proud of where it was. I'm even more proud now of where it is. And I love the feedback. So it sounds like you've got a winner. What are you paying per hour? Is it $4 per hour? That's pretty typical.
Yeah. I that's what we started her off at, but she's gone up.
Yeah.
And
Good for you.
and then we talked to that virtual assistant, and we said, hey, is there anyone in your family, friend group that would like to also add to our team and we could pay them? And she's found, we have like 3 VAs now that are working out well for us. We
So you
sometimes
got
have
you
to,
have 4 VAs now. One we trained for you, and then you turned them into kind of your lead trainer, right? And hired 3 more.
yes.
Good for you, man. I love this. Very industrious.
Yeah. I couldn't. The job you did on creating that VA service and the training, Kyle Curtis, was, I don't know how he doesn't have his hands full, but he does amazing on Skype. And
Oh, he does. We're getting him a team. We're all about scaling things around here and doing the things that only you can do. And I'm sure you're experiencing it. Your job responsibilities are slowly changing where it used to be you checked all 50 boxes yourself. And now you got other people checking those boxes for you, and you're just kind of monitoring their process and the results they're getting, right? So over time, as you go down this journey of doing the things that only you can do, it ends up with you're just kind of watching the numbers and making sure the good people that you've put in place are doing the things you've asked them to do, right? And your margins drop a little bit. That 24% net margin turns into 19%, let's say, maybe, or 15%.
yeah.
But your business is 10 times bigger and you're just watching the numbers. It's a lot more money. It's a slightly lower net margin. That's the journey you're on.
I understand. Yeah, that's where I want to go.
Yeah, that's the trajectory you're on for sure. I've seen it over and over again. Yeah, stick with it. Just don't get too addicted to putting tape on boxes, man, and you'll get there.
Oh, I definitely am over that.
Are you selling it all on eBay anymore, or?
Oh yeah, I can't say no to eBay.
Yeah, same here, man. We sell a good 5-10 items a day on eBay, I'd say.
Yeah, I still do because sourcing and everything you can do from eBay. You can look for wholesalers on eBay, distributors, and find a distributor that you couldn't find online. Just
talk me through that. Give me an example. Don't give away one of your hot sellers by any means, but talk me through that. What do you mean?
So if you find like a replan that you're selling, maybe this replan could be discontinued or they don't make it anymore, but you can still find it. And if it's a seller that's a top rated seller and they've got good feedback and good reviews, and they have more than 10 of this quantity, they might be a distributor and you can open a wholesale account with them. And just reach out to them, ask them what their minimum order quantity is, and you go from there. Worst they can say is no.
Has this actually worked for you on a product? Give me a specific.
Yeah, it worked out from one. Uh, I worked with a discontinued juicer,
Nice.
and I found uh, 10 products that way, and I got at least 20 of them. And then also a steamer. I bought some distributors whole stocked out, but it was like 25, 30 of that.
Gotcha. So they're selling the product on eBay and you notice it and they've got good feedback, a lot of history. You knows you can trust them. Basically, they've been doing it a while and you contact them and say, hey, how many of these you got? And make me a deal. And, I want to order through you. That's great. And then you flip them onto Amazon.
Yep, you're going to get a lot of no's, but if you like surfing around eBay, it's a good honey hole.
You can find replens anywhere.
Anywhere.
Right? Yep. Literally anywhere stuff is sold. Online retail doesn't matter. Well done then. This is good. Well, let's keep it going. Okay. So January, you started planning January of this year. Here we are in August of 2022. So January of this year, you got a VA. Didn't quite work out, but you saw the potential. You got one that started working really well for you. You grew that into 4 virtual assistants. Like, how are we doing now? Let's jump into summer of 2022. You got your 4 VAs rocking. Give us some details.
We in April we did. We were at that steady 40,000. Like I did 40,000 in March and April, and I couldn't get over that, and it really ticked me off. But I was like, we gotta get past it. We'll do it. It may take more than 1 month, but you gotta be patient. May we did 45, and that was fine. At least we weren't at 40. We got over the 40 mark, and June we hit 60,000. This summer's just been really, really good to us.
That's awesome. So this spring you're putting, just to run the numbers in my head, you're putting about $10,000 net in the bank.
Yeah.
And that was kind of your plateau there for a bit, which I've got to imagine is probably more than a lot of the guys you graduated with are doing right now with whatever career job they ended up with. So you're putting 10K a month in the bank, selling 40K, keeping about 24% of that. Then you jump to 60 here a month or two ago. Had a good month, June. Nice.
And then August was best month yet. So we were doing feeding the beast. We were doing 2 shipments a week. We had UPS pickup on Tuesdays and Thursdays for our FBA orders. And we saw that it didn't cost anymore to add another stop to the week. So we put 3 stops in, and in August we did $80,000 in sales.
So you're on a rolling 30 right now of 80,000.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, because we're in August right now, and you're on a rolling 30-day total of 80,000 in sales, still running around 24. So you're putting about 20. See, that's a nice trajectory. Back in March and April, you're putting about 10 grand a month in the bank. Now here we are in August, you're putting about 20 grand in the bank. That is a nice business, dude. What's your work schedule look like? Like, what's your routine? How many hours you putting into this every day?
I mean, you could put in as much as you want, but I only need to put 4 hours, maybe a day. That's all.
4 hours a day.
Oh yeah, and I got applications for prep centers, so I'm offloading all the shipping and everything.
That's great. Are you coming to the Proven Conference here in a few days? By the time this is released, that event will have already happened. But
I plan on being in Louisville because I live in Ohio. So
yeah, drive on over, man. You will seriously regret not being there. And for the listeners who don't know what we're talking about, theprovenconference.com, August 12th through 14th, already happened. Odds are by the time you hear this, or maybe it's happening. But you can get the live stream, get the recordings, go to theprovenconference.com. Yeah, we got it. We just passed well over 500 people going to be there, people doing this model, and you're going to catch fire after this event, dude. You're going to be so glad you came.
Right. I've heard throughout the community and Facebook that and just changed their business all around, just attending
Yeah.
and the mindset,
Yeah.
which it's always good to have that nice little refresher in the year.
Yep.
And
Yep. For sure. It is a boost, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. It's just going to challenge you. The relationships, the conversations outside of the sessions are going to be fantastic. I strongly encourage folks to get plugged into the good people of this community. And there's
yeah,
something special about people who are building businesses. Doesn't matter what the business model is. If they're serving customers with excellence and making a profit, that's just good people. You're going to be in a room full of them.
yeah. I come from a pretty small town here in Ohio, so there's no one that does what I do. So I've even had a human connection with another seller on Amazon, except like over the phone and
Yeah. Well,
social
you're
media.
going to love it.
Oh yeah,
You're absolutely going to love it. Try to form a mastermind. That's what I'd encourage you to do. And even if you're listening to this after the event, I have to keep the listeners in mind who's kicking themselves right now going, oh, why didn't I hear this sooner? I would have gone. Hey, that's okay. Get plugged into the community. We've got a 70,000 person Facebook group. There's a link at silentgym.com. It's completely free. Jump in. You can find out who lives near you from our community and start to form some relationships and gather. Do you have any kind of mastermind group at all or any people you hang out with? You kind of been plugging away on your own with this.
yeah. So when I put the chat in of my screenshot of my Amazon, there's people that reached out with me because I just wanted to see some familiar faces
Yeah.
at the conference that I can hang out. So we're starting a mastermind before the conference so we can go to the conference and know one another beforehand.
That is excellent. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, what else? What else do you want to share from your story? I mean, you've certainly shared enough to, I think, inspire a whole lot of people that hey, this is legitimate. This is exciting. This kid's doing it. I think I could too. Sorry to call you a kid, man, but I'm on the other side of 50. You're a kid. Sorry.
Look
But
good.
what else is on your mind, man? Fill us in. Give us some tips or strategies or encouragement. What do you got?
So throughout the whole journey, I pretty much hasn't been a month where I haven't wanted to quit or I just want to. It's been too many problems that it's above me, but just never quit. Always keep a level head. It's never the end of the world. It may seem like it, but yeah,
Okay, let me talk on that one for just a second, because you've been doing the e-commerce thing for 2 or 3 years, taking it serious for about a year, hitting it hard, right?
yeah,
I've been doing it for 20. And there is some profound wisdom in what you just said. Because if I go back to those first 5, 8 years that I was doing this full time, supporting my family of 7, like you're not married yet, right? I haven't picked up on that.
engaged.
So picture yourself married with a few small kids at home. Your wife stay at home. You're committed to that. And this is it, man. This is how we pay all the bills. This is every expense we have is coming from, it's a pressure that you understand once you're in that situation. And this was it, man. And there were so many times, and you said about once a month. That's about right. You have those sky is falling, like, what am I doing? Like all those people who said I was crazy, maybe they're right. It happened. Now, the nice thing is about 10 years in, you look over your shoulder and you look back at all those times where you got freaked out and you realize that those were just molehills, not mountains. And so it really takes a legitimate mountain to scare you. And the mountains are very infrequent, couple a year. But even those, you figure it out. And the thing I've learned, Kyle, and hopefully this is valuable for you as well as the other listeners who might hear this after doing this for 20 years, there is a great deal of security in not the head knowledge, not the business model, not Amazon, not Jeff Bezos. There's a great deal of security in the relationships that you establish along the way. I've seen people pivot and launch businesses together and say, hey, man, things just kind of tanked over here. What do you got? Let's do something together. And boom, off you go. Because these are people you love, trust, and respect. You've built relationships over time. And you've got endless opportunities ahead of you, regardless of what happens with Amazon. But Amazon is beautiful. I don't think it's going anywhere. But that's just me bouncing off the point you just made. There was more wisdom than you realize from my vantage point in saying you get scared about once a month thinking, what was I thinking? I think is this even worth it? But you look at the alternative. I mean, you just told us you're working about 4 hours a day, putting 20 grand a month in the bank. I'm thinking you're probably top of your class income per hour at this point. I don't know anything about the other people or how many people you graduated with, but that's pretty hard to compete with, dude.
And it's been an amazing ride.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, I haven't even found anything in life that I've been as passionate about. But I mean, I have a sister with special needs, so I kind of want to form those two together because I'm very passionate about both those. Maybe I want to like have like a nonprofit prep center where we could do that. But
I
that's
love the vision. What's
yeah.
her special needs, if you don't mind sharing? Because we got a little bit of that going on in my crew too.
She has a very rare chromosome 2 abnormality, so it's just like an extra chromosome on.
Is that like a Down syndrome type thing?
Kind of borderline that they can't really put it in categories, so they like.
Right. So she's got some social interaction challenges. Does it present any way facially that you can recognize like an abnormality, or does she look pretty healthy?
Yeah, she looks pretty healthy, but you could tell that she's not. She kind of is not fully grown. She's like 22, but she kind of still looks like she's a preteen.
Looks like a preteen. I got you. Developmental delays. Mentally, I take it
Mentally,
too.
she's 18. She's only can go 18 months. She won't ever go beyond that point.
18 months.
Yeah, she can't speak or go to the bathroom on her own.
Wow. Could I just make an observation? There is something, and this is so consistent, that you meet the families that have these special need children, and there is just a different level of empathy and compassion and determination and peace. I know it's a weird word, but it's very intentional because they know what a real problem actually looks like. You know, they don't get worked up on the stuff that doesn't matter because they've been dealing with stuff that matters every day their whole life. And God bless you guys, man. That's beautiful. I mean, it's a challenge we're very familiar with in our household from some of the challenges we adopted a couple times, and nothing major, but still special needs challenges. We do life differently here, and we're so blessed that we were able to homeschool, and help these guys really get up to speed. But yeah, I love your heart for trying to create something that she could possibly be a part of, or at least feel like she's a part of and contributing to, right, in some fashion.
Exactly.
Good for you, man. It sounds like you've got awesome parents. You haven't talked a whole lot about them, except that they supported you and they're entrepreneurial, and you sounds like a beautiful family. Is it just the four of you?
They have, yeah. No, I have 2 older brothers as well.
Okay.
They have their own. They have jobs though. They didn't go down the entrepreneur path.
So are you rubbing it in a little bit yet, or what?
Oh yeah. Well, one of them helps me with my business now. One's in Florida, so he sees the business and he's like
making a little cash from little brother now. Huh? I got you. That's great, man. I love it. Love family businesses. Well, you started through your list and I interrupted you because you got me passionate on a subject that I can go down a rabbit hole on. But yeah, so you want to build something that your sister can, or support people who are facing similar challenges. God bless you for that heart, man. I love it.
That's a dream. One day we can hopefully accomplish it.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, I believe it too.
What else, man? Anything else on your list?
So I wanted to ask you, what do you enjoy most about your Amazon business or the business you run?
That's a good question. I didn't know that was coming at me. Well, what do I enjoy the most? The thing I love about e-commerce, the appeal has never gotten old. And to you, this is going to seem like a very obvious observation, but you got to think like a guy who's been around a little bit longer than you have for this one. And I think this will resonate with a lot of folks. But the concept of being able to put your business in your pocket and go anywhere in the world, and your customers don't care, the business doesn't care, it just keeps right on rocking. Like we just spent 10 days in Mexico with our entire family and a spouse and a fiance and a girlfriend, right? And No, actually, it's a couple fiancés and a spouse now. I got to stay on top of these things. They change fast.
Hey.
And my business was in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be sitting at the pool or just getting onto the boat, drying off with a towel and check in and see, hey, things are good. Oh, this person needs me to get back with them at some point in the next 48 hours. It's all right here in my pocket. That is amazing. If you look at all of human history, there's this little tiny sliver of window of time where that's been possible. And here we are. And enjoyment is too small of a word. I mean, it's the most fulfilling, imaginable arrangement to know that I could sell everything that's around me in my house, all my possessions, take my family, put them into a transportation vehicle of whatever is available and go anywhere in the world. And if they've got electricity and the internet, we're up and running 3 days from now. That's amazing. It's nothing even imaginably, there's nothing even close to that in all of human history. So that's what gets me excited.
Yeah, we
Just
definitely
how flexible this is and how transportable it is. And to be part of an organization that's teaching other people to see the world that way and begin to live their lives that way on a large scale, I can't even calculate it. I get extreme enjoyment from enjoying it myself, yes, but I can't even calculate the level of fulfillment of thinking of guys like you and play it out 10, 20 years from now. And you're doing things not just for your sister, but for other families with special needs and getting them plugged in whatever way they can contribute in meaningful ways. Like the ripple effect of this community, I can't take credit for it, but I can sure enjoy the scale of it as best I can comprehend it. So those are the things I enjoy. And if you gave me more time, I could give you a list of 100 things I'm grateful for. But those two sure come to mind pretty fast.
Yeah, definitely very.
Good question, man. I appreciate that. I don't get asked a lot of questions on the show, so I always enjoy when I do.
I also just wanted to thank you for creating this community and showing me how to live life the right way and do business in the biblical way. And that's truly changed my life, thinking of doing business and life from biblical views. Because I read Daniel Lapin, Business Principles of the Bible. And
Did you? Business Secrets from the Bible. You're trying to get me back onto a soapbox, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My favorite business book, for those who haven't read it before, Rabbi Daniel Lapin, Business Secrets from the Bible. And I would have to say it's my second favorite business book because the Bible itself has twice as much to say about money and business as it does love and prayer combined. It is a business book and it works. Regardless of your worldview, it just works. But yeah, that's a great book that very practically pulls those lessons out. So you enjoyed that, did you? Does anything stand out to you? Is there any particular lesson? I don't want to put you on the spot. I mean, it's okay for you to say you love the whole thing, but is there anything in particular that you've kind of applied, a biblical wisdom tidbit that we can give folks, or what comes to mind when I say that?
I don't know if anything comes to mind, but it's just how he can relate everything from the past and what happened in Hebrews and how that business can it can change your business and the outlook, how you look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He starts off with, have you read the book Thou Shalt Prosper yet by Rabbi Daniel Lapin? You'll enjoy that. The Business Secrets from the Bible book specifically is like bite-sized chunks of truth. And some people might struggle and go like, I don't really see the Bible as relevant. And they might discount it because it's in the title or whatever. Well, in the book, Thou Shalt Prosper, he lays out the case, kind of the foundation, if you will, of why it's inarguable that you need to pay attention if you're in business of any kind, or if you want to even lead a successful life in any measure. Again, regardless of your worldview, there is a longitudinal study that's happened. And I think this is what you're alluding to, Kyle, a longitudinal study over a few thousand years of this people group that's consistently thrived. And again, today, even the vast majority of people who call themselves Jewish are atheists. but they're still applying these principles and they work incredibly well. Financial success based on these principles, it's inarguable. And he makes the case for why that is and all the other potential explanations that you might have for why this people group continues to succeed so wildly. He breaks down and destroys every other argument except, man, this Bible knows what it's talking about when it comes to money, business, finance, and a whole bunch of other things too. But those three specifically, you're crazy to ignore. And like one very practical lesson is relationships. And I've already encouraged you in that direction. You got this mastermind, you've got, you're going to be meeting some people, and you talked about kind of the lonely, isolated feeling you have doing this by yourself. That's not healthy. Well, that's a biblical principle. You can call it common sense if you want to, but when life throws pivots at you, you're going to need to lean on a network of people that know, like, and trust you, and make that group as big and strong as possible. So when you get punched in the face, you've got some people around you that care, because you are going to get punched. It's going to happen. And you don't start preparing for it after you've been punched. You prepare for it now. And then you've got those people around you. That's a biblical principle, right? So yeah, great stuff, man. Thanks for bringing it up. And here I go ranting again. But what else is on your list, man? I'm loving what you got so far.
Also wanted to state that I do have one wholesale account currently.
Okay, what percentage of your business is that? Because you said you had an 80K month, 80K rolling 30. What part of that 80 is your wholesale?
I think that's only like 20%.
Gotcha. Significant.
Yeah, but it's one wholesale account that's huge, and I list the whole variations of different products because of it.
How did you find that wholesaler?
It was a local distributor in my area that they give it to Walmart and all the major brands, but you could also go in there and buy a pallet. They said no to me so many times because they did not take me seriously.
Here's a good story. All right, you got to give us more details, man. So they said no once, which is where most people quit.
Yeah, I call them up again, and I say, "What's your minimum order?" They say, "Okay, it's $4,700." At the time, it was selling really well for me. I was ready to make the deal, and they're like, "But you can't have it right now. It's the inventory is not up." So I had to wait another month and call again. And I talked with the vice president of the company. He said, "You want a pallet?" And I told him I sold on Amazon. He said, "Yeah, we sell on Amazon too. And we'll give you a pallet, but you got to come here and pick it up." So I had to get my dad's truck, go to it's probably 30 minutes away from my house, pick it up, have them load it onto my truck.
Did they give you a pallet jack, help you with a forklift, or what? Like,
they had a forklift to load it. So they were nice and did it all. They still load it onto my dad's truck to this day because we buy a pallet every month.
That's awesome. Selling the same stuff they are, but you found some replens because you know what a replen looks like that they probably aren't even selling against.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
That's correct. I really want to, haven't took the PPP class yet, but I would want to take that and help them launch or get their brand registered, and they can be the only ones to sell them out.
Talk us through that a little bit for people who don't know what that is. Do you remember what the PPP acronym stands for?
Product.
Proven
Partner.
Proven product partnering. There you go. That's okay, man. I've been doing this a long time and I forget half our acronyms. Proven product partnering. It's one of the modules in the Proven Amazon course. Yeah. What does that involve? You kind of described it, but you talk us through a little more detail. What is your goal there with them potentially?
So I tried to do this with another brand in the past, got the no with it, but I also haven't gone to the course and took the proper precautions. But it's when you reach out to a brand or someone who's creating the product and you say, "Hey, I want to help you sell on Amazon." And you run their Amazon account for them, take care of all their sales, and you take a percentage that you agree to from the sales. So
you take a cut of the checks that Amazon sends them, and you do all the work. Yep, beautiful model. Diversifies you too. It gives you multiple Amazon accounts.
Yeah,
it's a great It's a great model. And some of the things we cover in the course are things like, what's it look like if they suddenly say, hey, we don't need you anymore. It's kind of running smooth and we don't really need you. So you got a buyout option. That's cool. Yeah. You just owe me the last 3 checks you've paid me, total them up. You owe me that at any point in time. You can buy me out and I'm done. I walk away. I helped you get it set up, right? That's kind of in the initial agreement. It's that kind of stuff you're not thinking of at the beginning, but we've been through this enough times that we help you think through all those types of details. And so you can walk in confident knowing that you can help them sell more of their product and diversify your income streams. We've got people who do only that model in the community. It's a beautiful model for sure. Yeah, good for you. That is definitely a good next step for maturing your business and increasing your income streams.
Yeah, that's
Maybe get one of your brothers hired to manage that for you, right? They can make some real money.
my other brother was a gym teacher in Miami, Florida. So he's the talker. So I might have to get him on that.
Yeah, man. He can talk in front of a group for sure, man. Yeah, turn him loose. That's awesome, dude. Sounds like a really cool family. Love to meet all you guys at some point. It's just you coming to the event, I take it though, at this point.
Yeah, just me coming to
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're gonna have a great time.
yeah,
You got a good list, buddy. Keep it going. Anything else, or were you coming to the end?
I was gonna ask you, is there anything that you think that I should change about the way how I operate my business, or any way you see any flaws?
Well, let me just nail it down. What are you, about 24, 23?
26.
26. Okay. I was off a little bit. You're young.
Yeah.
So change, I don't want to throw any changes. When I look at a guy like you at your age, the trajectory that you're on, it's not changes. It's, I don't want you to change anything. If anything, I want you to pace yourself with discipline, keeping in mind this lesson. Your ability to accomplish 30 things in a day, we all exaggerate that in our own minds. We think, if I just get up and have a good motivated day, I can check 30 boxes today. Don't do that to yourself because you end up disappointed. Be very consistent and happily checking off. I heard Jeff Bezos say one time, he's happy to make 2 good decisions a day. That's a good day. 2 good decisions a day. One of the wealthiest men that ever walked on the planet has a goal when he wakes up in the morning of making 2 good decisions a day. Like, let some pressure off yourself, pace yourself, because of the trajectory that you're on, you will have something consistently more beautiful and amazing. It's going to have some valleys and peaks, of course. You're going to have some moments where you just think, what am I doing? This is crazy. And then that's followed by the best month ever, right? So it's going to have up and downs, but you look at your trajectory over a long period of time, and if you continue to pace yourself, it's going to be a nice upward moving line. Relationship focused, always be learning, always be asking yourself, am I the only person that could be doing what I'm doing right now? Is there anyone I could be paying to do what I'm doing right now? So you become more of an entrepreneur managing a process versus the guy in there working hard. It's not about hard work. It's about setting up systems and then managing those systems well. Okay. So no changes. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't allow yourself to be burnt out. That's what takes most people out, is the burnout, the monotony. They get bored. They don't pay attention to the details. How do they prevent that? Well, this is another biblical concept. It's called the Sabbath. Take a day off every week. I've seen it over and over and over again. The people just think they can go hard for 3 years and not take a day off. They live, sleep, eat, and breathe business, and they lose relationships and they get burnt out. I don't care how much money is associated with that lifestyle. That'll destroy you. So take a day off a week where you just turn it all off, step away from it. And then you'll hit Monday so hard, or, whatever your Sabbath day is, that first day where you're back, man, you're going to hit it so hard and that momentum is going to carry you. So it's those little discipline details. Monitor those because your trajectory is beautiful. So your question was, what should I change? Don't change anything. Just be disciplined about the little details that keep you in a healthy state of mind and keep you moving along that same trajectory. That would be my advice. Because I think a lot of guys your age think, okay, well, if I just go hard for the next 8 months, live, sleep, eat, breathe, abandon relationships, marriage, that can wait till I'm 40. I'm just going to go hard. I strongly advise you not to think that way. As a 50-plus-year-old dude, the right path is to, slow and steady, nice pace, keep growing, find a great girl, get married, right? Let a lot of things interfere with this business and enjoy the journey. How's that?
That was best advice I could ask for.
I, it's all biblically based too. I could back it up if you needed me to, man.
Uh,
I'm not wiser than the greatest book ever written. All right, dude, man, that was a good question. You asked me two really good questions. I appreciate that, Kyle, very much.
I got another question for you.
Hey, we'll keep it going, buddy.
Is there anything you're working on that I can help you out in some way or
Wow, my two favorite questions all wrapped up in one. You've heard me ask those before, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
What are you working on? How can I help? You know what? Let's talk offline and stay in touch a little bit on that one, because anytime I see someone who's succeeding and they've got a teacher's heart, and one of the clues that someone has a teacher's heart, by the way, is they ask really good questions. Actually, that's one of the indicators that you're dealing with a future potential phenomenal leader, because the best leaders keep asking questions. There's actually a book by that title by John Maxwell. Great leaders ask great questions, because it's a sign of humility. If you ever get to the point where you're like, I don't need to ask anybody any questions, or if I asked questions, people would think I'm not as smart as I'd like for them to think I am. That's a place of ego-driven madness. Talk about imposter syndrome. You know what that is?
No,
Imposter syndrome is when you find yourself leading in a role where you think, I don't deserve this. Who am I to be up here on this stage right now? I don't know more than these people. And like, I have to fake it till I make it. I hate that. No, you want to be humble enough to say, the only reason I'm up here is because some of the things I've experienced and seen and done are worth sharing. This is my story. This is who I am. But here I have a lot of questions. So always be asking questions, always be asking. And you're asking great questions. That tells me you've got great leadership potential. The people who don't have any questions to ask, they scare me, to be honest with you. People think they have all the answers. They're done learning. I don't know if I have much use for them. You ask great questions. You want to learn. You've got a humility about you. So I'm sure there's roles that you're going to be able to play around here. And it would kind of bounce it back to you and to all the listeners too. That's such a great question. What are you guys working on? How can I help and contribute? Well, let me hold up a mirror and say, what do you see that we need more of around here? If you were to step into your ideal role as a part of this community, what would that role be? Create a new position for it, create a new concept. We'll test it, we'll vet it, we'll ask you a lot of hard questions. But if it's ready to rock, just like you mentioned Kyle earlier, Kyle came to me about a year before we launched that virtual assistant program that we talked about, the the PRV, provenvirtualva.com. Yeah, no, proven replens VA. Sorry, provenreplensva.com. A year before we launched that, he was talking to me about it. And like all the other thousands of ideas that float across our, community and my desk, like, well, probably not, but maybe. Here's the things we need to happen next. And we chip away, we chip away, we chip away. He passes all the tests, he validates, he's persistent, he's contributing, and then we launch it. And it's huge. Hundreds of people are using that service now. So that's the way things happen. But I didn't go to Kyle and say, hey, Kyle, I kind of need you to launch it. No, he came to us. He said, hey, I think we could use this service. I think this makes sense to serve the community. I think it's a three-way win, right? Where the community wins. It's a good, valid service that gets results, and they'll appreciate our leadership, and the person who comes up with the concept wins. Our whole community is built on that. And so you do that, 300 or 400 times, and you end up with what we've got at this point, which is a very flat organization structure that anybody can step up and lead anytime they want. But there's a process to get onto that stage, which includes being vetted and checked out. And you can never know all there is to know about somebody, but you can certainly look at their trajectory and kind of determine who it is you're dealing with. So that's my answer to your question. Is I'm sure there's a role for you, but I think you're going to be the one to find it, not me.
Understand where you're coming from with that. It takes a whole another turn on the perfect question to ask.
Yeah, the best questions are often answered with another question. So your question to me was, hey, what are you working on? How can I help? And I said, hey, what do you think you could help with?
Yeah,
We could have kept it super short, but there's some good lessons in there, hopefully, for the listeners too.
absolutely. And also with that uh, virtual assistant that Kyle created, are you guys like working with other virtual assistants for like account health? I know you got one for wholesale. And
Yes, we're rolling out, we're taking our own philosophy very seriously. We're constantly asking, are, are we the only ones that could be doing what we're doing right now? Could someone else be doing it? And every aspect of running a highly successful Amazon selling business, every piece of it can be done by someone else, fully automated, scaled to the point where you're just checking your numbers. We've got people on our team that travel the country in their RV and they check their numbers every couple of days. The team is doing all the sourcing, the shopping, the account health, finding new accounts, the team is doing all that. Someone else is in charge of paying everybody. Like it's all virtual assistant and, a couple people on the team running it. And, where you end up is you can have a very healthy multiple 7-figure business with a small team running the whole thing and you have no physical location. The business in your pocket. It's a pretty incredible thing. Virtual assistants are the key to that. So the short answer to your question is yes, all that's coming. And you can do it yourself. Train virtual assistants to do these things, record yourself doing it and train them. Or we are going to be training people with excellence over time. This virtual assistant program that we've launched is growing, and there's just an unending wave of talent, and especially in the Philippines, but all over the world. But we love the Philippines because as a culture in general, they're very pro-American. They're very pro-business. They're very pro-capitalism. $4 or $5 an hour spends like $25 or $30 an hour in their local economy. They're workhorses. Once you get a hold of a great worker, so there's a lot you can do while really creating a great opportunity for a new friend on the other part of the world who works while you're sleeping, and you can build something pretty incredible. So yeah, all that is coming, and we're just pacing ourselves. We're doing it right, testing it, before we roll it out. Great question.
awesome. I was curious about that one for a
Yeah,
while.
it's all coming, buddy. Account health, wholesale accounts, founding wholesale accounts, new services that are being created. Yeah. A lot of creativity, a lot bigger than me, man. I can't fit it all in my head.
Is Rabbi Lappin coming to Louisville?
Great question. No, he's not this year. He has been our keynote speaker three times of our 10 events. So he will be again. I'm in regular correspondence with him, which is just a thrill for me, of course. He listens to this podcast. Hi, Rabbi Lappin and Susan, if you're listening,
Hello.
because he sends me feedback from time to time on the episodes, which is just phenomenal for me.
He's got a
True,
great podcast as well.
true blessing. What's that?
He's got a great podcast as well.
Oh, yeah. I listen to it religiously. Yeah. I've run one marathon. Now, I've run several half marathons, okay, and several 5 and 10Ks. I've run one full marathon, and typically his podcast comes out on either a Friday or a Saturday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning, right? So as I was preparing for my 4 hours of running, like, what am I going to listen to? I've got my music set, but I was like, come on, Lap, a new episode, new episode. And the episode he came out, that was the day that I ran. It came out in time, and it was on the power of optimism and positive thinking and gratitude, right? And so one of my favorite episodes, and I'm listening to it for like 50 minutes during the difficult part of that run. And it boosted me. It just drilled it into my head. So yeah, I listened to that. His podcast is phenomenal for sure. And I refer people to it frequently. So I hope we've sent him a lot of good listeners over the years.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Rabbi Daniel Lappin. That's the name of the podcast.
I actually did a triathlon last year
Really?
it was like August, and I downloaded Oscar Matumbo's podcast from Silent Sales Machine to get me through it. And during the bike part, because you can do 13 miles on the bike, and Oscar helped me get me through that triathlon. Then I
That's
finished
awesome.
it with
Does he know that? Because he's
oh,
a runner.
Yeah, I've never met him or anything.
You got to go up to him at the conference because he's going to be there and tell him that. He's going to love that.
Yeah.
Get someone to record that moment secretly, if you don't mind, because he's going to love that. He's got a great heart, man. Talk about a guy that I could just sit and listen to all day. And yeah, what a blessing to have guys like that around here as leaders. Oscar Matumbo. Yeah, we got to stick a link to his episodes, very popular episodes, because he just has a determination and a drive and a giving, caring heart that just shines through every word he says. Like, this guy's real. This guy is, he and his wife, the two of them, as far as I know, I mean, I think they've had to hire a couple people at their warehouse now, but I mean, they were well up over into multiple seven figures, just the two of them doing all of it out of their house. And then they finally got a warehouse. We're working with him on some branded bundles and some things right now. It's pretty exciting. His business is blowing up. But yeah, great podcast episodes. I'm going to make a note so that we put a link. If you haven't met Oscar yet, you need to. If you liked this episode today, you got to go listen to Oscar's next.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, buddy, I actually do have to start wrapping up now. I've got some other commitments coming at me here shortly. Some other things to wrap up for the upcoming conference. But man, it's been a pleasure getting to know you, buddy. I love your heart.
Was keen to talk to you, John. I've listened to you so many times on the podcast. It's great to be able to speak with you.
Well, I love, like I said at the beginning of this, my favorite part of this job, man, is just getting to do this and getting to know the great people of this community. I feel like I've made a connection and can't wait to see you in Louisville. And for those who feel bad, they're kicking themselves, you missed the event. Oh no, well, we've got videos for all of it. Get to theprovenconference.com, grab the videos, see what you missed. Tremendous event scheduled right now, more sessions than we've ever had before. It's going to be more than you can possibly soak in 3 or 4 days, but you get all the videos. So just enjoy yourself and enjoy the community. We'll see you there in a few days, it sounds like, buddy.
Yeah, I cannot wait. See you in Louisville, Jim.
God bless you, man. Let me talk to the listeners for just a minute before we wrap this one up. Like I say so frequently, I really hope you had half as much fun as I did today, because I had a great time. If we hadn't recorded this would have been a phenomenal use of the past hour or so for me. But the fact that we've got other people listening and hopefully benefiting and being encouraged and inspired, and that's icing on the cake. Put this stuff to use. It works. If you're skeptical, listen to 10, 20, 50, 100, 300 more of the episodes like this of this show, talking to real people who learned e-commerce from the strategies that we teach around here, grew incredible businesses, faced very real struggles. We're very transparent here. We're not sugarcoating anything, but the stuff we teach does work. We're very intentional about the strategies that we teach, as evidenced today by Kyle and his story. He told us today the stuff we teach works. It's just another example of it. So if you're ready to get serious and do the work, we've got the system that'll get you going. Thanks for listening to us today. God bless you, business building warrior. Hey, Kyle, once again, man, awesome job today, buddy.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, sir. Good to get to know you.
Okay.
And to everyone else who's out there, we'll have another great episode for you again very soon. Hey, send a friend to silentjim.com if you like this episode today. Tell them to go check out our podcast. We'd appreciate that. We'll talk to you soon.